When it comes to protests, I do not mind what you do. I do not mind the cause. If it's a protest that I agree with, maybe I might join you, maybe I might not if I disagree with it. But regardless of what your protest is, whether or not I disagree with you, the only thing that I ask is that if you hold a protest, you at least hold it in a place where you won't interrupt everyone else's daily activities. When it comes to this article, I am very critical of the title because it can be misleading. And basically, it instills the idea that if you protest, you're risking the chance of basically getting arrested. You're basically playing chance of getting arrested because you're holding a protest. Even though if you want to protest, by all means, it's your right. But at least if you're gonna protest, do it do it with a sense of respect and decency, and not ruin and not disrupt everyone else's daily activities. But before we go to the article, go ahead and go and check out my new website, carlosredfits.com. It's a new website, incredibly secure. There's a blog that I'm still trying to I'm trying to tweak a bit so it can at least be functioning properly. There's also, if you want, like a little tab where you can, if you want, donate directly to my channel, support my channel. That way, I don't have to deal with the problems of YouTube, because YouTube has made it harder for YouTube channels to be monetized now. Because anything that is covered on its site, if it becomes controversial, it makes it easier for them to take away my monetization, and makes it easier for them to remove me from the platform. Same time too, if you don't want to donate, there's also a forum as well. You can actually include like any events such as local news from your region or from worldwide news, what you think. What I do ask though is that you keep it respectful, don't disrespect each other, don't incite violence, don't release someone else's private information on this site. Otherwise, you will be removed. But if you want to become a member, there's no charge to become a member. All you have to just log in, use your Google account, Facebook account, again, incredibly secure. That we can get involved with the community. Now let's go back to the article. Police arrest 70 climate change protesters outside of the New York Times. Police arrested 70 environmental protesters outside the New York Times headquarters who laid down in the street and climbed onto the building to demand the newspaper start referring to climate change as a climate emergency, police and media reports said. New York police arrested 67 people and Port Authority police arrested 3 others. A police spokesman said charges were pending. Protesters blocked the street by lying down in a die-in and affixed a banner to the skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan saying climate change equals mass murder, with the word change crossed out and replaced with emergency, according to pictures posted by the website of 1010 Winds Radio. Another banner was attached to the Port Authority bus terminal across the street saying simply climate emergency. Demonstrators chanted, "Tell the truth," a reporter for The Guardian on the scene tweeted. According to 1010 Winds, a spokeswoman for Extinction Rebellion, Eve Mosher, said the group wants the media to report on the climate emergency so that people can start pushing for more radical responses. Another protester, Donna Nicolino, told The Guardian she was ready to be arrested because we want the New York Times as well as all the other media to treat climate change as a crisis it is. Police removed the banners and arrested protesters who had climbed on top an overhang above the ground floor of the Times building, social media pictures showed. There is no national news organization that devotes more time, staff, or resources to producing deeply reported coverage to help readers understand climate change than the New York Times, spokeswoman Danielle Rhodes told The Guardian, saying that the newspaper published 795 articles about the issue in 2018. Now, here comes my opinion. I do not care what your protest is. If you're going to protest about how abortion is wrong, I'll agree with you there. But if you're going to protest, please, for the love of God, do not ruin everyone else's commuting routes or daily activities. Because what happens when you disrupt someone's daily activities? They will literally hate your protest. Even if they agree with you. Like I said, I don't care if you're holding a protest that says abortion is wrong. I agree with you. But if you're blocking my street, the street that I take to go to work, and therefore I'm late because of your little protest, I'm gonna get mad, and I'm gonna remember that protest in a negative way. And this is why protests like this are not effective. Like I said, climate change is a very liberal stance. Obviously, these people, I'm assuming, are liberals because they're protesting for climate change. But what I do not appreciate is that these people are blocking a street because they want to hold a protest. Go hold it at a park. Go protest on the sidewalk. But please do not block an entire street. New York, if you see New York traffic, it's very, very heavy. It's a lot of heavy traffic. So you think that people who are going to appreciate this protest by literally blocking probably the only way, or even in the fastest way on their way to work? You really think they're going to be happy about it? No. They're gonna think about, oh, those climate change people. Oh my God, I was late to work because of them. Or they're gonna say, oh, I lost my job because I was late because of these protesters blocking off the fastest route to my work. They're not gonna be happy. Regardless of whether or not you want to protest, by all means, fine. I don't care if your protest is for abortion is alright. I don't care if your protest is for deport all illegal immigrants. I do not care what your protest is. But for the love of God, please do it in an area where you're not going to be disrupting everyone's daily activities, especially when they're commuting to work. If you're going to block off a street, at least do it with a sense of decency. Don't do it. Don't do it. At least do it on a sidewalk. Do it on a park. But don't do it on a street. A lot of cars use that street to get to work. A lot of people are going to be late to work. They're going to probably not even going to be able to show up to work. Some people will lose their jobs. Some people will get in trouble. Some people will, maybe some kid is probably, waiting for his mom and dad to go to work. Sorry, to pick him up from school. And then they have to wait an hour because these people decided to block off a street. So please, if you're going to protest, do it in a very respectful way with a sense of decency. Like I said, I don't know. I think that to some degree, I think it was okay for them to protest because they were disrupting the city, like many of the new people in New York. I think they were disrupting their daily activities. So I think it's fair. Not to mention, they're literally blocking a street. They're blocking public property. They're basically denying individuals to use that street. So I think it was fair to arrest them. I don't know what they're going to be charged. I'll look into that later. But I think an arrest was a reasonable response. And then again, on a side note, I think this further proves how the left eats each other. Like I said, climate change is a very liberal stance. You don't have to be Democrat or Republican, but usually people who advocate about dealing with climate change is a very liberal stance. New York Times is a very liberal newspaper. They have a lot of liberal stances, and even the New York Times said that they devoted 795 articles about climate change last year. So when you see liberals protesting liberal organizations, what does that tell you about the left? They will eat each other up, no matter what you do, no matter where you stand. To the left, you will never be liberal enough. The New York Times is incredibly liberal. These liberals are literally protesting a liberal institution. Basically, what I'm getting from is that these people are protesting the New York Times because they're not liberal enough. They're blocking public property. They're literally blocking a public space. So how are people surprised that these people got arrested for literally disturbing the community's commutes or the daily activities of the community of New York? How are they surprised? But the title can be misleading, like I said. You won't get arrested. Chances are you won't get arrested if you do a protest. But it has to be a peaceful one, and it shouldn't disrupt the daily activities of everyone else. Because if you're holding a protest and you're literally hitting people because they don't agree with you, at that point it's not a protest anymore. It's called a riot, or you're basically inciting violence. That's not a protest. Sure, they weren't hitting anyone per se, but they were climbing onto the New York Times building, trying to post posters. They were putting it on public property, which I wouldn't complain. But for me, I think the thing that made them get arrested was the fact that they blocked an entire street. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that these people do you think that the police did the right call or made the right call by arresting these protesters? Would you appreciate if let's say you're on your way to work and you see people protesting and they're blocking, your fastest route to your job or to picking up your kid from school, or let's say you go and you got an interview and the street is blocked because they're holding a protest? Would you appreciate that? Do you think that this article proves that the left does continue to eat itself, like Obama said? It's a circular firing squad. Are you surprised that the left, mostly these liberals here, mostly the left, is attacking a liberal newspaper because they think they're not liberal enough? Share the video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notifications button, hit the like button if you liked the video, comment what you think, and at the same time go ahead and check out my website. Like I said, you don't have to donate, but I would appreciate if you would at least check out the website, become a member, try out the forums. That way I can at least, make some fixes to the website. That way it can be a better experience for you and for the community of the website. That's going to be it for today. Have a good rest of the day. I'll see if I can upload more videos today. Probably, hopefully. I probably won't though because I have to go to work. But I hope you have a good rest of the day. And until next time, you guys.